Acharya, in one of the conversations you said, some people say that love is accepting me the way I am, and you said, well, what if the way you are is very dirty? And also, I may not know how to clean you, but I can show you possibilities that might help. And what if the person says, no, I'm not dirty, this is your imagination, gets very angry, and you do this a few times? I guess, at what point do I stop trying to clean?
No, you never stop, you wait. You wait. You occupy yourself with other things, keeping one eye on this person, waiting for the opportune moment. You see, there are more ready pickings to be had, yes. Right? There are low-hanging fruits available. There are more ripe candidates at hand. Why don't you focus on them in the interim? Meanwhile, this particular candidate will take his time and get ready. You can't push things beyond a point. So it's not as if you do it right now, or you totally abort the project. No. There's something else called waiting. Be patient. And patience does not mean inactivity. In this period of patience, why don't you sharpen your skills? Why don't you try out new things at other places? That will benefit you in two ways. One, you will be more prepared, more able to help this person out who is frustrating you currently. And this person too, having passed through a bit of time and having seen your progress, would be in a better position to receive your help. Right? And then there can be a better convergence between the teacher and the taught, or the helper and the helped, whatever.
This makes sense, especially the low-hanging fruit. That's how I look at it. What if the person still keeps coming to you, and every time you mention this, they say, I don't want to talk about spirituality, or don't talk to me about these things?
Fine. Don't talk to them about this. You don't need to talk about these things. You see, these are not anyway the right candidates for discussion. If you are progressing in the spiritual dimension, it will show up irrespective of the topic of conversation. You might be talking to the other person regarding the latest gadgets in the market, and yet if you are spiritual, it will show up. And now it will show up in a much more irrefutable way. Because when you are taking a position, when you are explicitly talking about spirituality to the other person, then the other person is on guard. His armors are all in place, because he knows that you are trying to penetrate him or her in some way, right? But right now you are just talking about gadgets. It's a harmless topic. But in between this discussion, something happens from your side in a very unconscious way. You are not really deliberately trying to influence the other person. But because now you are really spiritual from your core, so it happens, it shows up. And in this moment, that person is off guard. That person has no armors on. Now this person cannot refute that spirituality has had a great impact on you, and the impact is not cosmetic. That spirituality has permeated you right to your core. It has become so much of your center that even if you are talking about food or whatever, politics or something, still the discussion is from a spiritual center, at least from your side. And that's what really converts the other person.
So I notice in my conversations with friends or family, now that I've got a little more awareness, I'll ask questions like, what makes you think this way, or where did you learn that? Those are the questions I'd like people to ask me, and I realize that not everyone wants to hear that.
It's a little too explicit. You want to play this game, you must not show your cards so openly.
But I have no interest in the other conversation, which is my son's school and he got a prize and he's the best child in his standard. It feels...
Truth is not a matter of interest. You have to keep your personal interests behind. You cannot make truth a matter of your interest and say that I want to push my interests ahead of you. They are interested in one thing, and that's understandable because one can be interested only in things. They are interested in their son's education or their daughter's wedding. Fine, understandable. But how do you say that you are interested in truth? Do you get the semantic inconsistency here? You cannot be interested in the truth. You have to just hear them out. Fine, they are saying something, and then you get into it. Not as a missionary, not as someone on a prowl. Then they'll hide, right? Yeah, they'll take you as a predator.
I think in some ways I like that because it
fattens your ego.
It's less opportunity to talk about things that don't interest me.
You see, it's a.
I don't have to say no, they'll stop coming. Or is there something else?
There is something else. It's a great ego booster when others are kind of afraid of you. There's this little boy in my family, less than 2 years old. The moment he looks at me, he starts yelling, shrieking, tries to hide, run away, does all kinds of things. Now, it took me a while to figure out that I have started liking it this way. If I really want him to come to me, then I'll have to become less intimidating. And it's not a matter of whether I am actually intimidating. It's a question of how he is perceiving me. If you're really eager to help, then you have to mind their perceptions. Otherwise, being intimidating is something that the ego likes, even if you are intimidating just a 2-year-old. Don't you see all the Babas, how they are narrated in the popular image? They are all pretty intimidating figures, huge flowing beards and heavy husky voices with maybe baritone, and they're pretty commanding authorities. When you look at the popular figure of a Baba, he is least of all a meek figure. And he says, I'll do this, I'll do that. Bachcha, तुझे भस्म कर दूंगा, तुझे वरदान दे दूंगा, तेरा ऐसा वैसा वैसा, and all that. You won't be able to help this way. I'm not saying that you crawl up to them or lick up to them. But look at yourself and be conscious whether the intention is really to help or to push an agenda. Spirituality is not an agenda you push with the other.
I guess if I'm being honest, I'm hoping that talk to me about that because it's more interesting for me. And otherwise, I might not want to engage with them. So I think that's my hope that.
So you have to keep your wants behind. Just as I said, you have to keep your interests aside. Similarly, your wants. It's not about your wants. Could they see things very clearly? They would have changed by themselves by now. So I get what you are saying. What I am telling you is something I frequently tell myself as well. If certain things have become clear and obvious to you, it becomes difficult to appreciate that those obvious things are not obvious to the other. But that's ego, it operates from its own center. It says it's obvious to me, so it has to be obvious to the other. The thing is, it is obvious to you, right? Not to the other. So don't become the center of the world. Just because you see things a certain way, the others are probably not in a position yet.
This makes sense. I guess I'm coming back to my first question. How do you balance it with accept me and love me the way I am, even if I don't see things and I have no intention of seeing things this way? How do you...
The two boundaries are, when you are participating in their life, do not pamper them to the extent that they become more of what they already are. And the other extreme is, when you are allowing them to participate in your life, make sure that they do not start corrupting you. A kind of role reversal must not happen. You entered in their life to influence them, and instead you find that you are getting influenced by their thing. So that's one boundary. When you hit that line, that's when an alarm should go off. And the other line is, you are participating in their life, and in your eagerness to remain participative and remain acceptable to them, you start acknowledging and affirming everything about them. So I said pampering. And then no change comes about. It's a fine art, it's a fine balancing thing.
I guess, is there, for me, I feel guilty when I withdraw engagement. So when I feel it's going towards that boundary, I'd stop interacting, I'd stop wanting to go out, wanting to meet, and I notice I feel guilty about it, and it's these very spiritual thoughts that, oh, I should be able to be with them and not be...
That's ego, that's ego. I should be able to, but you are not. Acknowledge that. I'm still feeble. As much as I may want to help the other, I'm still not in the condition. May I reach that condition as early as possible, and that depends not on him, but on me. If I'm not in a condition to help him right now, that does not authorize me to vent frustration on him.
I guess, does it authorize me to not engage as well? Or is that another boundary?
It authorizes you to engage rightly. You cannot take something upon yourself that you would not be able to do justice to. Engage rightly. If something is not within your capabilities right now, then it is mere ego to take it upon yourself and also feel guilty when the ends are not attained. Far better it is to see where your powers and your potency fails. Acknowledge that line, that point, and then come back and work upon yourself, and then go back again. In this way, the progress will be two-way, twofold. In trying to work upon the other, you'll find that you have to keep working upon yourself. So the other will develop, and so will you.